Let's get you the story that impacts us directly and something that we all are reeling under at the moment. And this is only March that we're looking at. We are talking about the Mercury. In Delhi, it is likely to soar up to 40 degrees today. Yes, I'm not kidding. 40 degrees is what we are looking at, and this is just the end of March. The Met Department has in fact predicted a heat wave with 39 degrees temperature that was recorded on Monday at the Safdarjung Weather Observatory. This is in fact 7 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Heat wave conditions are forecasted for both today and also Wednesday. So we're looking at the severe heat wave conditions. This is only the month of March. We have not yet begun April, and 40 degrees is something that the national capital is already going to reel under today. And possibly once I get out of the studio, I must be ready to bear that heat wave as I drive back to my house. So the mercury will soar up to 40 degrees. This is a severe heat wave condition that we're talking about. The warning really came from the Met Department. It had already predicted that the temperatures in this time of the year are 7 degrees above normal. So this is the kind of impact of climate change that we're talking about. 7 degrees above normal in the month of March. We have to wait and watch what has April really in store for us. The heat wave conditions are also forecasted for both Tuesday, that is today, and tomorrow. Let me now quickly, be joined on the broadcast by Air Vice Marshal G.P. Sharma, who is the president of SkyMet. Ms. Sharma, thank you so much for joining me. Severe heat wave conditions, like I said, the March month has not yet ended, and 40 degrees, we're already talking about that higher temperature.
Well, yes, actually for the last few days, it has been building up our rather more than one pockets, be it the North India, that's part of even Delhi also. Delhi, number of places, number of observatories already crossed 40, which is almost about 8 to 10 degree above the normal severe heat wave conditions. And so is the condition even over parts of West Rajasthan. You talk about Gujarat, you talk about southern parts of Madhya Pradesh, large parts of Vidarbha, Marathwada, even Madhya Maharashtra also. So these are the pockets which are reeling with almost severe heat wave conditions. It has started building up before yesterday, but yesterday, yes, these temperatures, they are almost about 4, 5, 6 degrees above the normal, and especially the national capital, Delhi, in various parts, it's almost about 8 to 10 degrees above the normal. And they are going to stay for some time. I think we have a relief only after about...
Mr. Sharma, how bad are the summers going to be? Because I'm already getting worried. 40 degrees already is what we're talking about. I only wonder, what does June have in store for us?
Yes, actually the heat builds up from March onwards. April becomes further hot, and then May is the hottest, because sometime in June, we start having the flavor of reach of monsoon at that point of time. At least in some parts, it starts knocking, particularly the southern parts of India. But then you see a change because monsoon is around, so June becomes a slightly better on some days. But then the month of April and May, and top by May. May is the peak for the country as such. And looking at the trend, which is at the moment, obviously, you can expect becoming further hotter in the coming days. We are having a feel of even April, now in the month of March. Okay, it's almost about 2 to 3 weeks in advance we are experiencing this temperature. And you can expect these things to last and heat up further in the coming weeks also, in the coming months also. Yes.
Mr. Sharma, it's become, very fashionable to talk about climate change, but is this the primary reason? Can we safely blame it all on climate change, when it comes to this particular heat wave that we're talking about?
See, climate change, there is no doubt. It's a reality. It is there. But then such events of this heat wave, etc., they may not be an offshoot directly of the climate change. But what climate change obviously does is increase in the frequency of heat wave, increase in its intensity. So these obviously long-term basis, you can relate this because this is going to happen. Nothing much has changed as far as the climate change is concerned. We haven't done much about that. And obviously we saw cyclones forming in the month of March, which is unprecedented. We will see possibly another one coming up in the month of April. So all these, what the climate change does is these things. The sensitive weather events, they are on the increase. They become a little more frequent. They become more intense. And obviously, you can link it sometime with that also, though it is seen on other occasions also. Yes.
Being a Delhiite, I'm really worried about this, so I'm asking you again. It's only today and tomorrow that we, have to brave to 40 degrees Celsius, or there is more to come. Is it going to come down a bit or not?
We have a relief after about 48 hours. Basically, it's all related with the wind pattern. They impact these conditions largely. Another 48 hours or so, we can expect it to change in the wind pattern. The things were there earlier also, but good thing was there were strong winds blowing across these parts, across parts of northwest India, including Delhi. So that was taking the pinch out of that heat which was there. It was mitigating rather. And today, relatively, they are calm winds. Now, calm means it's much less. Yesterday, day before, we have almost about 30, 35 kilometers, which now reduced to just about 15 kilometers per hour also. And that's what we're feeling the heat. But today, we are again possibly the similar trend, maybe a slightly shade better tomorrow, and then relief we can get after about 48 hours. In terms of the heat wave conditions over Delhi and around, yes. Whereas other parts, which we said earlier, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, possibly 3 days. Today, tomorrow, day after, and after that only. So next 2 to 3 days, most parts of the country, central and the northern parts of the country, including the national capital, can expect this heat wave. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. GP Sharma, for joining me on the broadcast. So 40 degrees already, just the 29th of March. 2 more days to go for this month to get over, but it already feels like May. We wonder what is in store for us when it comes to this year's summer.